May never expected a simple train ride would change her life. She was traveling to the city when she found herself seated across from two women speaking English. Their conversation flowed with a rhythm that fascinated her. "Excuse me." May gathered her courage to speak in broken English. "Your language, very beautiful." The women smiled warmly. "Thank you. Are you learning English?" May nodded shyly. "Little bit. I want to learn more." "You should," the second woman encouraged. "Your pronunciation is already quite good." That brief interaction filled May with determination. By the time they reached their destination, May had made up her mind. She would master English. Each day, May devoted time to improving her English. She translated articles, watched English movies with subtitles, and listened to English songs. After 6 months of consistent effort, May noticed significant improvement. Her confidence grew, and with it came a dream: to study English in London. 3 months later, May found herself in London, enrolled in an English language school. Her teacher, Ms. Bennett, was young with an infectious enthusiasm for teaching. "Language isn't just about memorizing vocabulary and grammar rules," Ms. Bennett told the class on their first day. "Language is a tool for communication, for connecting with others." Ms. Bennett's approach was different from what May had experienced before. Rather than focusing solely on textbooks, she encouraged students to use English in real-life situations. "Language is meant to be lived, not just studied," she would say. "Use it every day, in every way you can. Grammar and vocabulary are important," Ms. Bennett explained, "but practicing daily is what truly matters. Don't just know the rules, use them." May took this advice to heart. She practiced new phrases while doing chores and tried to think in English as much as possible. "The fastest way to build vocabulary is through reading," Ms. Bennett announced. "Studies show that people who read regularly learn new words twice as fast. Aim for at least 30 minutes of reading every day." She emphasized choosing materials that were both interesting and appropriate for each student's level. "If you love the story, you'll be motivated to understand every word." May began visiting the library, selecting books that matched her interests. Whenever she encountered an unfamiliar word, she looked it up in her dictionary. "When you look up words as you read," Ms. Bennett had advised, "your brain creates stronger connections." Wanting to improve her practical language skills, May visited a job center. The advisor suggested working as a waitress at a nearby cafe. "The training isn't complicated," the advisor explained, "and you'll practice conversation with customers every day." May started her job the following week. Initially, she struggled with different accents, but within a month, taking orders and chatting with customers became second nature. During one class, a fellow student from South Korea expressed frustration with his pronunciation. "That's because pronunciation isn't just about knowing how words should sound," Ms. Bennett explained. "It's about training your mouth muscles." She introduced the class to a technique called shadowing. "Listen to native speakers and repeat what they say, mimicking their exact tone and rhythm," she instructed. This is how children learn their first language by copying. May began practicing with news broadcasts before giving presentations in class. She would spend 10 minutes shadowing to warm up her English muscles. Eager to make friends, May inquired about activities at the school reception. "We have a table tennis team and a football team," the receptionist told her. "Football practices at 5 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays." Though she had never played before, May decided to join. The team included students from Brazil, Japan, Spain, and several other countries. English was their common language. By the end of her first month in London, May had established a fulfilling routine: classes in the morning, work in the afternoon, and football practice twice a week. One day, a new student named Isabella joined their class. Originally from Italy, Isabella spoke English with remarkable fluency, despite never having lived in an English-speaking country. "How did you become so good?" May asked during lunch. "I read English books every day, practiced shadowing with movies, and used the thinking aloud technique," Isabella explained. "Thinking aloud?" May was intrigued. "Yes, I basically narrate my daily activities in English. It sounds crazy, but it works." Fascinated, May approached Ms. Bennett after class. "Could you explain the thinking aloud technique? It's extremely effective, but requires strong motivation," Ms. Bennett replied. "Some people find it a bit unusual." "I don't mind if it's unusual," May assured her. "I want to learn." Miss Bennett explained that thinking aloud involved verbalizing your thoughts in English, essentially having conversations with yourself. "Start with simple sentences," she advised. "Say things like, 'I am walking to the store,' as you go about your day." Isabella shared her experience. "At first, I would think in Italian and then translate. The challenge was to think directly in simple English." She described how meeting an Australian tourist had been a turning point. "After practicing for months, I could actually have a real conversation without constant mental translation. The most effective approach combines multiple techniques," Ms. Bennett explained. "Allocate time each day for reading, listening, speaking, and thinking in English." 6 months into her London adventure, May could hardly believe how far she had come. Her colleagues complimented her improved English, and she had even started thinking in English during her dreams. The journey had been challenging, but May knew that learning a language was about more than just words and grammar. It was about opening doors to new worlds and connecting with people in ways she never thought possible.